Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I'm gonna be honest. I actually really like this episode. I like this episode more than I actually liked General Hospital's episode today. I knew once I saw the title of it and I read the preview, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is already looking like it's going to be better than GH, and man, did they not disappoint. I like this episode for a couple of reasons. It didn't really deal with, the usual, you got 3 people's storylines or whatever. It didn't deal with that. Not really. This was center stage about Nicole and Eric and Xander coming in and just blowing Nicole's life apart. You got Sammy on one end of the room, just standing there smiling, smirking, just being the hypocritical woman that she is. Xander comes in there, he just spills the beans. And he does it in his fashion of just being a complete and utter asshole. I try not to curse too much, but with him, I'm going to make an exception. I'm not going to sit and use the hard ones, but he comes in there, he spills the beans. And he's all like, yeah, she wanted to be with me, she was lonely, this, that, and the third. At first, Nicole, this woman seems like she's in denial, okay? At first, Nicole's like, oh, well, he's lying, and he just doesn't want to see us happy. Really, Nicole? We're just gonna keep this going, huh? We're just gonna keep this whole rules going. This is okay, cool. This is the route you wanna take. Okay. Alright, well, fine. Let's continue with it. And Xander starts going more and more and more. You got Eric at first I don't believe you. I don't believe anything you're saying because she doesn't like you. She can't stand you. This, that, and third. I mean, he is all in on this. But then he starts dropping certain little details. About the fact that he was hired through Nicole because Nicole wanted to shut him up. At one point, he even brought Sammy into it. He was like, no. Why don't you tell him, Sammy? Because Sammy's sitting in the back just snickering or whatever, alright, cool. I'm just going to sit there and keep my hands clean. No, you're not. Come right up here. Tell him the whole story. So she tells her version. Alright? She's like, yeah, I saw him at the end, stumbling, drunk or whatever. That's what I saw him doing. And then, of course, she's like, oh, I'm sorry, this, that, and the third. And I think this is before they cart him off. And that's when he was like, she hired me to shut me up. Now, at this point, Eric is like, is any of this true? He said that a couple of times. I do remember that. But when he left, this is after, he was like, this is after Xander was all like, oh, and she won it, and she begged me, and I'm just like, oof, wow. Man, you're kind of making a lot of men look like pigs. You're not helping us. You're not helping me. Eric just had enough. And Eric just punched him in the face. And it was great. That's great. I actually rewinded it 4 times because I just really need to see it again. He leaves. And he looks at Nicole. He's like, is any of this true? Did you really hire him? Now at this point, Chloe comes in and Chloe tries to defend Nicole by sitting there saying, hey, listen, I was on a commission. Brady was in the hospital. Xander was our point man. He worked with the competition. He knows them inside and out. We needed somebody with business experience, and we needed him fast. So this is on me. Just being a good supportive friend. Eric is like, yeah, I'm gonna sit there and ask you point blank. Is this true? And she says, I'm sorry. And I looked at her face. And there was a small part of me that wanted to feel bad. There was a small part of me that wanted to feel bad. It's hard when somebody starts crying in your face. It's difficult. But I was like, no, no, no. I looked at like the good angel. I was like, no, you're not feeling sorry for this woman. This woman had ample opportunity to sit there and come clean. Okay? So I was like, I can't do it. I can't feel bad for her. I can't. You did this to yourself. You could have told Eric. You could have told Sammy. You could have been like, you know what? I did it. I did it. I screwed up. Just kind of just. I mean, she really went to this party like, oh, we're just going to continue our lives and everything's just going to be fine and he's not going to know anything. I was just like, you just lied to this man's face and you just think that everything's just going to be cool. So her cry was like, no, sweetheart, you did this to yourself. And Eric leaves. He's upset. I'm like, listen, Eric, yes, granted, there are better ways to sit there and always handle a situation, a relationship, other than cheating. There's many other ways you can go about it. Cheating is not the first option. It's not your, oh, it just happened. No. With that being said, Eric, you left for a year. You kept extending your stay. You was married to this woman for, what, a day? A day? Before some other woman comes up and it's like, hey, you gotta go back to Africa. You gotta help the village. You could have just said no. You could have been like, no, I'm good. I can't do it. But, I don't know if you have a savior complex, whatever it is, but you decide to go. You decide to go, you talked to Nicole, you were like, hey, listen, they asked if I needed, if I can help them, but, we just got married. You basically guilt-tripped her in a lot of ways and sit there co-signing to you leaving after not even a week. Okay, I remember that conversation because I remember me sitting there thinking, man, this character's really boring. When are you leaving? When are you going? You going to Africa, right? I mean, I know you're married and everything like that, but I'm going to be honest, B. I can't sit there and watch another scene with you just doing nothing entertaining for me. But yeah, he literally kind of let the breadcrumbs or whatever to make her feel guilty. And of course she was going to sit there and be like, well, I don't want you to go. I want you to stay with me. No, so of course she let you leave. Now again, that's still on her because she could have just been honest. Yeah, I mean, being selfish or whatever, but at least you're honest. So, I'm going to be honest, some of this is on you, She turned to another man because you were gone for a year. You kept extending your trip knowing that she missed you. So, to be honest, even when he was talking to his parents, and he was saying, oh, I've been there fighting to get back to you and stuff like that, and now I know what this relationship means. I was like, bro, listen, I get it, she's a cheater. I get it, but come on, at some point you gotta take a bit of personal responsibility. Xander leaves, and the funny thing is, while this whole thing is going down, Chloe's like, I can't believe she would sit there and do something like that. Now, Brady being a, friend that he is, he's just like, he's not going to say anything to Chloe. He could have. Of course, he would have had to sit and explain why he knew and how he knew and why he didn't sit there and say anything, but whatever. He told us to say nothing. Hell, he kept trying to throw him under the party a couple of times. Got in his face. I think he got in his face or Eric got in his face. But the point is, he kept trying to get him to leave because he knew what was coming. But he follows, he goes after Xander. He gets there to his place because, Xander's sniffed counting the money to make sure that he's not short. And, honestly, tell you the truth, I know there's somebody on this, my subscribers or whatever, that was really, would defend Xander sometimes, and I would sit there and talk about him. Would sit there and try to say that he's a good he's been used to doing bad things all this time, and Sarah brings out the best in him, and he wants to be a better man, and that's very lovely. And I was like, here's the thing, you're trying to be a better man for somebody else. You're not doing it because you want to do it. You're still scum. You're just hiding behind a woman's love to sit there and try to, say that I'm doing this to be a better person, when in reality, you don't want to do it, you just don't want to screw things up with her. It's one of those things where even I start to enjoy his character, and I still do to a certain extent. I mean, the guy is honest to a fault, and granted, that could be his worst worst quality, but sometimes it can be refreshing and entertaining, like today's episode. But yeah, everything that everyone's saying about Xander was true and more. Xander is a scumbag. He will sell you out in a heartbeat. I mean, he tried to kill 2 people for money at this point. And I knew, even when he would sit there and say these lines, like when we were sitting there talking about Sarah, talking about, oh, we were going to give up the baby anyway, so what's the difference about what I did? Or trying to defend Charlie Dale of the stuff that he did. Xander's a scumbag. Through and through. Yeah, he may have a moment of clarity every once in a while. He may have somewhat of a conscience, but majority of the times, he's kind of a terrible person. I love when I was going onto Instagram and I saw people sitting there, because, a scene was playing. And people sitting there say, oh, I love Xander, he's so great. And I was like, I am so trying not to really kind of itch in your comment, but you're basically sitting there saying that you love this guy for being a scumbag. Oh, come on. I mean, let's be honest. They love this guy because he's good looking. Scumbag or not, he's good looking. Apparently, that's just the only thing that really counts. But, wow. So, yeah, Brady comes over there. He's like, why'd you do it for her? You had Nicole where you wanted her. Why'd you do it? They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Brady sees money. He's like, okay, cool. That's why you did it. Chloe gets over there because Chloe's like, listen, I don't want Xander to hurt Brady because, he's still recovering and stuff like that. And Xander leaves. He's like, alright, whatever. I'm just going to call it a night. I had a great time. I'm like, Xander, let's be honest. That money is probably not going to last. I mean, it might. It's not like he's paying rent or anything. But I wouldn't be too surprised if Jack would be like, hey, since you have $1 million, why don't you help out with some of these bills? Or something. I don't know. I just have a feeling like that money is not going to last him that long, especially with his lifestyle, but I guess we'll find out. Chloe gets over there, talks to Brady. They both come to the conclusion that most likely Sammy's the one that paid him the money to block Nicole's life. Also, John and Bella are talking at the party, or death of a marriage at this point, but then when they leave, they kind of both talk about the same situation, and, John is like, listen, I get what she did was wrong, but she looked at it like this, because Bella was like, yo, she could have did that in a better way than embarrassing Eric like that, embarrassing him in front of his family and everything like that, But this wasn't about so much protecting Eric. This is about getting back at her. Collateral damage be damned. Him being embarrassed like that, his family being embarrassed like that, whatever. As long as Sammy gets what Sammy wants, the hell with anyone else. What I did like is that when Nicole left, because when Nicole started lashing out, not really lashing out too much, when Nicole walked up to Sammy and was like, listen, he who cast the first stone or something like that, walks off. And EJ's just like, what does that mean? What are you talking about? And of course, a couple of times, EJ's like, listen, I get where Eric is coming from. I mean, no man wants to be cheated on. And if that happened to me, I don't know if I can ever recover. Of course, Sammy's like, oh, she's doing all nervous and everything like that. I can't wait until her secret gets exposed. Oof. That's going to be great. I think we should do a wine party. We should do another wine party. Can't do the cake party because I'm saving that for GH, but we should do a wine party. That'd be fun. Because that I can't wait for that to happen. But yeah, Bella's like, you know, Sammy could have did it in a better way, and John was like, listen, you know, if Nicole had, you know, if Sammy had went up to Eric and told her that, you know, told her about Nicole cheating, Eric probably wouldn't have believed her. And we all saw it tonight. Eric didn't believe Xander at first. And it took him some convincing before Eric started to be like, alright, 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8. Start thinking about some of those conversations that they were having. It was like, okay. So yeah, they had their little talk. And of course, Eric is pissed. He's throwing, like, you know, he's crying, he's upset. Marlena and Roman comes over there to try to comfort him, but to be honest, it didn't really do much of any good. All the words, the sentiments and everything like that are, your marriage could survive this, you could survive anything, and Eric was like, not this time. Listen, I get what y'all trying to do, it's all, like, sweet and everything like that, but I want to be alone. So, they didn't really, like, help much. Probably in the long run, but now he's not really in the mood. Of course, Nicole comes in. This is after Eric throws, like, the picture or whatever. Nicole comes in, she's all crying and everything like that. I was like, sweetheart, what do you think's going to end up happening? Didn't she cheat on Eric before with Brady? And he forgave her? Or something? Let me guess, she's going to sit there and say, we can work past this, we can get through this, I love, or some crap like that. She's going to, some generic comment that she's going to sit there and say to try to get through Eric, and Eric's going to be like, because I know the rest of the world's going to be like, nah, boo-boo. No. I don't know. This whole thing is a mess. Sammy is just a piece of garbage in the back at the marriage place. And Sammy's like, you know, trying to get EJ in bed or shower and sex in the shower. And EJ's like, no, I want to know, what did Nicole mean by that? What did Nicole mean by that comment when she walked up and said, he who cast the first stone? What did that mean? Now, Sammy's being all paranoid and everything like that. I'm just like, this is going to be interesting. Philip was there, but he didn't really do too much. To be honest. I felt like he could have gave Chloe a bit of space. You know? He could have gave her a bit of space. I mean, she wants to sit there and try to comfort her friend, try to find out what's going on with Brady, kind of like help fix the situation. And, you know, as much as I like Philip, he's kind of being a little clingy to Nicole. I mean, to Chloe. Even after she leaves to try to find Brady, he gives her a text like, hey, listen, if you need any help or whatever, let me know. I'm always here. I was like, bro, she hasn't been going like 5 minutes. Listen, I get it. She's hot and she can sing and she has very questionable decision-making skills, but I get it. Could you give her a minute to breathe? I feel like with all his best intentions, he's the type of person that would sit there and smother someone until they're just like, yo, this ain't gonna work out. You know, Philip could be his own worst enemy. I think everyone can be their own worst enemy, but Philip could be his own worst enemy. And I feel like there's only a matter of time before he just sinks his own ship, to be honest. I really do. Now, I'm going to be honest, I know I missed a couple of interactions. And if I did, please write down in the comment section below. I felt like this episode, again, was a little bit different because it wasn't like you were dealing with, you know, separate storylines. This was one storyline. I mean, yeah, towards the end it kind of broke up a little bit. You had EJ and you had Sammy. You had Bella, John, Roman, and Marlena talking. You had Nicole and Eric and Xander and Brady and Chloe. But I always felt like it was just still one whole story about this stuff. So I don't think I missed too much of anything, but if I did, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. I know this came out super late. Be safe, and see you in the next video.